Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Sing Beyond and Through with Monty. As Wimbledon 2021 comes to a close, it was a success. However, there was one notable absentee, and this absentee was Miss Naomi Osaka. Now, as you know, Naomi chose to not participate in this tournament. In fact, she has been MIA for the past two Grand Slams, that being the French Open and Wimbledon. Naomi has cited mental illness as the reason why she chose to skip those tournaments. However, her sister gave an insight into the star's mental health, a decision to withdraw from the French Open. Now, this would have been the tournament before Wimbledon. And this is about when her sister spoke out about actually the true nature of the so-called mental illness. And I say so-called because we're going to get into that a bit, but what we're going to talk about really is that one tennis player, a tennis legend, a six-time Grand Slam winner, went in on Naomi Osaka. He let her have it. And we're going to reveal who that is. But Mari Osaka, it says right at the top, Naomi Osaka's sister spoke about the tennis star's decision to avoid the media on the French Open on Sunday. Before the decision to withdraw from the tournament be taken, Mari Osaka wrote a long article on Reddit explaining that her sister was upset after her first round loss to Rome. It should have been in Rome at the Italian Open, and the idea that she was bad on clay to her. Mari Osaka explained that her sister's strategy for dealing with criticism was to block everything and everyone. So basically, Naomi's strategy of dealing with this is just to block everything out. So this was one of the reasons why she didn't want to do the press conference, is because she didn't want that, what she considered negativity, put into her mind. Then it goes on at the bottom. Naomi mentioned to me that before the tournament that a family member had come to her and remarked that she is bad on clay. So yeah, I'm reading this to you again because I did a video about this, but I'm trying to lay context or substance as to what I'm going to get into later. But I want you to read the second paragraph. We can start right there. So her solution was to block everything. Do not talk to people who will put doubt in his mind. That should have been her mind. She protects her. That's why we'll have her called mental health. So many people are picky about this term, thinking that you must have depression or some sort of disorder to be able to use the term mental health. So basically, as what her sister Mari stated, Naomi is using the term, or used the term mental health back then, to block out doubters, to block out negativity, to block out people who say she's bad or weak on clay. She did not want that in her mind. She wanted all positive feedback. So what happened was that tennis player discussed mental health issues raised by Osaka. So she had all the tennis players talking about it, coming to her defense, basically. And let me just tell you what happened. Naomi Osaka at the U.S. Open, she did she wore the mask with names of people who were murdered by law enforcement. And she is known for her activism for racial equality. And that went over very well. She got a lot of positive feedback regarding this activism. And it really endured her to the public. However, what she thought was that this particular activism would branch over into press conferences, and she thought that it would lead some weight, and she thought that they would back down from her because she's known as an active a player who promotes racial equality. She's about activism. So she was got the positive feedback from this and was kind of used to getting her way. But at the French Open, it didn't work. It backfired. So what happened was that they came down hard and heavy, leveled her with the $15,000 fine, and was threatening to extend it farther, and the fines will be heavier if she continued to do it. And if she continued to do it, meaning avoiding press conferences, it could possibly lead up to her being disqualified from future tournaments. So she decided to take the route of mental health. And taking this route right here, it was a palatable excuse to negate criticism and to have a legitimate excuse for withdrawing from the tournament. So therefore, people wouldn't question her. She would garner more sympathy. However, there were many people who seen through it for what it was and was just not buying it here. And one of them is tennis legend Boris Becker. Now, Boris Becker is a 6-time Grand Slam champion, and he's known as being very outspoken, someone who does not bite his tongue. And it gets him into some controversy. And what Boris said, this was at Wimbledon, and Wimbledon just ended today, but at the start of Wimbledon 2 weeks ago, we'll read from here. Boris Becker slams Naomi Osaka for skipping Wimbledon. Where's the effing pressure? At the bottom it says, tennis legend Boris Becker had some tough words for Naomi Osaka at the start of Wimbledon last week. This would have been 2 weeks ago. Boris Becker slams Naomi Osaka, skipping Wimbledon. Where's the effing pressure? But I want you to read what he said. Okay, tennis legend Boris Becker has some tough words for Naomi Osaka at the start of Wimbledon last week after she announced she would skip the tournament. Here's what he said. If you cannot deal with the media, it's very difficult to be a professional tennis player, Boris told the Times of UK. The tour isn't possible without the press, and it's difficult to make your prize money or money for your sponsors without the media. It's not something we look forward to, but it's part of the job. You have to learn to deal with it. Osaka raised eyebrows when she declined to speak to the media at the French Open. She eventually withdrew after being threatened with difficult default and fines. See, that's what happened. They were going to go in heavy on her. She then announced that she would take a break from the spotlight and later committed to focusing on the Olympics where she would represent Japan. Okay, Becker predicted in the interview with the Times of UK on Saturday she would have a tough time if she can't face the media pressure. That's very true. Becker, who won 3 times at Wimbledon and had 6 major titles overall during his career, also questioned Osaka over her stance that the pressure was causing her trouble. He was skeptical. Is it really pressure? Isn't it pressure when you don't have food on the table? When you got to feed your family and you don't have a job? When you have a life-changing injury? Isn't that more pressure? He asked rhetorically. You're 23, you're healthy, you're wealthy, your family is good. Where's the effing pressure? See, I think this is what Naomi Osaka needed. I think she needed tough love. I like the fact that he did not call her out of her name. He did not go anywhere low, let's say below the belt. He kept it focused on her withdrawing and about pressure. And this is something that she would think about. That last paragraph, you're healthy, you're wealthy, you have your family's good. Where's the pressure? I remember years and years ago, a lady was confronted with a tragedy. It was a life changing tragedy. And she had encouraged people that while you can be happy, be happy. And that stuck with me. Now, I do understand in mental illnesses, cases that deals with the mind, sometimes chemical imbalances can happen whereas you can be delusional, where you cannot be happy. It can bring on depression. I understand that, chemical depression. But a lot of times, I have made choices, and I'm sure many of you have, to not be happy, to not count the blessings, to always want more when it's not really necessary. So I totally agree with why you can be happy, be happy. And because you never know when a tragedy will befall you. Many of us are just one step away from an automobile accident, a family member passing away, a loved one passing away, losing a job, losing a pet. So I agree with taking full advantage of happiness while it's in front of us. Because when tragedies happen, we don't have a choice to be happy. No one's going to celebrate any of those before things in which I've mentioned if they do befall us. So the good thing about Naomi Osaka is that she's looking well. She's looking good. She's looking positive, and she's looking rested. And this is what she needed, the rest. And she needs constructive criticism. Sometimes we don't need for people to baby us, to boohoo us, to come to our defenses for the wrong reasons. And I do believe that she used a mental health issue, which is a true issue, which is just a daunting condition for a lot of people. She used that to avoid criticism so people would not question her. I truly believe that she had things in the past, but she was boo-hooing and being a baby because she just did not get her way. And when that did not happen, she dropped out of the tournament, or tournaments. But here she is right now. She's at the ESPY Awards just a day ago. And she's looking great. She really is. And I think that if she gets a hold to what Boris Becker wrote, which she will, she's in the tennis world. And some of the criticisms that people leveled at her for she needs to tough it up. All tennis players go through that, press conferences. They don't really like to attend, but it's part of the job. If you can't handle that, then don't be a professional tennis player. It's time to hang up the rackets and walk away. But I believe that this whole thing is going to make Naomi Osaka an even tougher person. What doesn't break you makes you stronger. If she becomes a tougher person, which I have faith that she will, she's going to be an even tougher tennis player. Because she can chalk this up as, when I was younger, I had a difficult time in dealing with the press. Now that I'm mature, and you can mature in a matter of months. Now that I'm mature, put that before me and it's going to be no problem. Sometimes we look back at things in our youth, and our youth can be last month, 2 months, 3 months ago, and kind of laugh it off, which is what I believe she's going to do. So ladies on the tour, watch out, because Naomi Osaka is coming back stronger than ever. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Sin Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you beyond and through.